and then it should tag you on Twitter. I think I put your name in right. So see who all pop up on here. But other than that, everything been good with you though, bro?
Yeah, everything been straight. So ain't really nothing too crazy going on this week. Kind of a little chill week. I'm finna share it in all the little pages too. See, there you go. A few tapping in. Oh, this hat too. I had to show love to my boy Calvin Bruton. He got a little he doing this thing with the beard kit. He got a beard kit out called Kings of Kings. I show love with that, and then he just dropped his hat, and he had 100 of them, limited release. It sold out in a few hours.
Shoot. Yeah, we just shout them out, but you just did. So the beard kits, man, I can't wait. I gotta go get me a tape up. Beard looking
Yeah,
unkept. Look like I'm on.
I used to ain't do it, but I do a little bit more of the self care stuff now. But his stuff follow. He got a whole little packaging. That's one thing I can say with him. His packaging be elite.
All right, man, I got what's up? A little tripod now, man. Hopefully, I'll stay up. I have to keep changing. Uh, yeah, trying to find the shit on my iPad, maybe out of date. I don't know how to do it. But all right, we can go ahead and get started. This might be who we got. People will come on as we going. But what's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Games. Well, ain't as big as it used to be, but at Big Game James, 36, with my boy Struggle Made 105, Freddie Stevenson. You know, you see them everywhere in America right now. Going out there, New York Times. You got the bestseller? No, Amazon bestseller, right?
Yeah, Amazon, yeah.
Okay, man. Shoot, you gotta get your proper credentials on that, man. And we're coming in here. We're gonna try this a new pod where we just come on here and we just talk about what's on our mind. Call it inside drills. Here's what an inside drill is. I don't think a lot of people really know about this, but this is I called it hell on earth when we did it. I don't know what it was like when you did it, but like it's everybody knows 7-on-7 as a part of practice, and that's where all the pretty people they throw the ball a little bit, they do all these different things. But where we get down is the running part, and this is inside drill. It's all run, and it's technically trying to think. So we got the lineman, the quarterback, and the back. So we got five. It's eight. It's 8 on 9 on 8. That's what it is. So like they've got safeties, defensive line, linebackers, and you got to go in, and they know every play is a run or it's something that's inside the box. That's inside drill, and it's banging. It's grown men. It's aggressive, screaming. all kinds of stuff that was happening when you were getting in there, and I had the straight. So basically, it's we would do 3 periods of it or more, and it's 3 periods, 15 to 20 minutes of ISO kick out blocks, which y'all saw Tim Tebow completely fail, which I want to get into that. Not Tim Tebow failing per se as much as us talking about just what it's like to actually do that. And then we ran the fullback dive in that thing, and it was, or the 34 belly as we call it, and it ain't sweet. Shit is not sweet when you're running that in the inside drill. That means you got one less blocker. There is no pass threat. There is no nothing. It's literally guys coming downhill and playing football the way it should be played, in my opinion. So that's kind of how we want to theme the podcast. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about, but at the same time, we're going to, we're going to be hard hitting, aggressive, and it's going to be me and Freddie, but we're going to bring some friends in every now and then to have them talk and put them on the spotlight, put them, shine some things on what they're doing, and try to, make sure our stuff is good. So, you want to add anything to that, Fred?
Yo, man, the inside drill is a monster, like you were saying. And I came in, I did it a little bit in high school. High school different. You coming in, a lot of people scared of you, this, that, and the third. I come into college as a linebacker, and I remember my first experience with inside drill. We doing it in spring. I enrolled early. I came down. It was a power play. I came down. I seen a puller coming. Cam Irvin, man, he already know. That was my welcome to college football moment. We all got him, but that was my moment. And I remember I smacked Cam, but next thing I know, I just felt my feet lifting off the ground. I was like, yo, like I cannot stop this dude. Like my feet is still moving, but that's when I realized I had to get in that weight room. It's definitely a different monster, but you got to know, and we're gonna take y'all through all the different moments and how intense it really does get. Because, like you said, it can be hell on earth.
I think that's probably a really good way to go because I don't, not every podcast, one, I don't want this to be, this ain't, we don't, the last thing the world needs is another FSU podcast. So this may have some heavy FSU stuff in it, and we may have some people requested an instant reaction show, and we may do some other different things. But like, I don't, but just from a Division I standpoint, or even we can both delve into from a pro standpoint, what is it like to like be on that level and to practice on that level? And I was on championship teams, but you were on a national championship team. So what was it like? And I think you were young in that too. So what was it like being on a national championship level team? And what was the mentality that you had to bring? Actually, talk about your experience from playing linebacker into shifting, and then I'll go into what mine was.
Okay. Yeah, I came in the spring, enrolled early, went through that spring, and you kind of knew like I played at a high school. We was garbage. I was one of those guys like that wanted to lead the team, but you had a whole bunch of guys that just wouldn't buy in. So getting into Florida State and seeing all these guys with the same mentality that you got, and then some they take it to a level even further. Like you got your Joiners, your Taylor Smiths, and those guys just being able to learn from guys like that coming in. I'm like, man, it's a sense of urgency about every single thing that they do, and they don't half-ass with anything. So they were able to take me under their wing, and I was able to see the way they went about business. And early on, you saw it. Like a lot of people tell the stories. We had an idea early on in that spring that we would have a chance to win the national championship. You hear the story about the scrimmage we had where we ran like 25 straight plays on the goal line, and Wilder had broken ribs, and he still kept running the ball. Then you come in. I had a decent spring, but it's crazy because I was playing linebacker and Pruitt them. They didn't even recruit me. They didn't recruit me, and I kind of shocked them. Pruitt was an Alabama guy. I remember Alabama was telling me I was undersized coming out of high school, and I was balling in spring. Pruitt like, man, I got to meet your family. Coach Sal, them, they want to meet my family. And I remember their biggest thing, like, man, Freddie, you can play. You have opportunity to play as a freshman, but you got to gain weight. I was like, man, shoot, I'm coming in like 210. I'm like, Tevin ain't that big, man. What y'all bothering me about gaining weight? And that pride kind of kicked in a little bit for me. I like, man, these dudes back home don't want to see me eat, so I'm gonna go and gain this weight. But I did it the wrong way, eating whatever I could. And anybody that, if y'all don't know about my story, I had a huge injury like a year and a half before. Doctors were telling me that my career was over. So when I gained all that weight fast, my body wasn't really able to hold that weight. And then fall camp, that's when I had some issues with movement and things of that nature. And that's ultimately why I got switched to fullback. But yeah, same thing on the opposite side of the ball, just seeing that sense of urgency and really from a different aspect. Jimbo, man, if you can make it in his system, that's why you see a lot of those guys, they go on and they're able to have success at the next level. They prepare you. Like, we went to the league, and I'm going to those practices. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing like the practices we had in college. It's easier. But that's really a little bit of my story and how they prepared us in that national championship team. Every single thing that we did. Like, you got coaches, great coaches that hold you to a high standard, but on championship level teams, it's the players. Like, the coaches leave and the players still holding each other to that same standard.
Right, and that's really what I've always told people, and that's why I said the standard is a standard, and it's got to be player accountability as well as self accountability with the coaches doing it. So like really, the coaches should be the fail safe. So like if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then the coaches got to come in and like that fire and hold you accountable. But the reality is they should just be there to call plays and pick people. Like they shouldn't be having to babysit you, not at that level, because they could just go get they could just replace you. I remember my position coach who, man, who I have a great relationship with, got a chance to see him this past weekend at Bobby Brown's funeral, told me, like, my job he's like, I love my wife, but I like you. He's like, but my job is dependent and predicated on getting as many 17 to 22-year-olds to do what it is that I need them to do. Now, the problem with it is you're going to come here and you're going to experience things you ain't never experienced before. You're gonna find some new vagina. You ain't never had that before. It's a whole bunch of girls here. You hear what? So you're gonna fall in love. Then I'm gonna lose you. You ain't gonna make your grades like you're supposed to, and I'm gonna lose you. You ain't gonna have your parents there who are truly responsible for you, and then I'm gonna lose you. Or you might just not pay, or you might have just been a big fish in a small pond, and you just might not be good. And I'm gonna have to cut you. So he's like, I gotta bring in as many of y'all every year as possible. And I'm really throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping that something sticks. Now, my position coach was Billy Sexton. Why, when I go back and I look at who he's coached, like I don't think it was at any point when he was coaching in college, he didn't have multiple backs in the NFL. Whether it be fullbacks, whether it be tailbacks, he had two between Dexter Carter and William Floyd on a Super Bowl team. Like a lot of people call people goats, but when you go look at his resume, people should be talking about Billy Sexton in a much, much higher respect. Don't mean he coached anybody. Like he told me some of the, it's not silly. I actually use it now in coaching, but when you're going through it, you're expecting a little bit more. But his famous thing was, you got to run where they ain't. That's how he talked. That's literally what he said. He showed you how to take it was the proper steps, and he showed you the blocking scheme, and you got to use your eyes. He's like, I recruited you because you can run. Now, the things that he taught us was how to pass pro out of the backfield, which was very important to him because he lost his career because when he was throwing the ball, his hand hit the back of a running back's helmet and he broke his hand. He broke his throwing hand in the game, so he couldn't play anymore. We ran route. He taught us how to run routes out the backfield, and again the plays. Those are three things that I always tell every running back they got to know how to do. Obviously, if you don't know how to run, you can't play running back. But you got to know how to pass block, and you got to know how to run block, and then you got to know how to run routes out the backfield. You got to be a 3D back. But my experience was similar to yours. Actually, to be honest with you, I got to ask bar none, who I believe is the greatest fullback to ever play at Florida State, William Floyd. But I think almost every fullback that was any good came in as a linebacker, and then they just flipped us, or you were something like you were something like that. So I came in as a linebacker, but I was a step slow, and I'm willing to admit that, like I came in with, just to let people know who was in my class, there was Buster Davis, Sam McGrew, and AJ Nicholson, and all of them, I think, yeah, all of them got at least a cup of coffee in the NFL, AJ crazy ass was able to do some stuff off the field and still be able to get into it. And then Buster played a couple of years, and Buster was really really good. Um, I watched them. I lasted. We had freshman two a days, and I was actually in summer school. I had my week of finals was freshman two a days. So we had 16 periods every day of the week, getting acclimated with our position coach before two a days before two a days actually started. I believe on that Monday. So we went Monday through Saturday. Then Saturday, excuse me, Monday through Friday. That Saturday was moving the dorms. That Sunday was the team meeting. That Monday was the first two a day practice. And man, boy, we that was crazy. Again, I went on defense. Then it poured down raining on the second day. They told me to go try out do with the offense. And then we went in the offense. We went into the seg room. And we were sitting there sipping on Powerade juice and writing stuff on the board, and he was going over stuff. It was amazing. I looked out that window. You know how that, like, because you had the same running back room, so you know how you can look out that window. And I think that was your lounge. That used to be called the rubber room. That was an exercise room for us. That's where they like the original mat drills. That's where the original mat drills happened in that room. And I look out, and them boys doing full-fledged mats, getting slaughtered. Like every like getting getting after it. Roderick Buckley was the only D tackle in that class, and it's just him and Odell. And Odell is over there just getting at him, getting after him. He had three linebackers. They were with we didn't have Coach Steele yet. We had Coach Kynes, and his voice got on my nerves too. That's a big part of the reason why I shifted too. I couldn't have done 24 per hour. His voice sounds like Jay Coleman. You're the one you play too high, son. You did better than that, but you're still the worst on the team. Like I couldn't take 24 periods. Like he sounded like he got that thing. Like I couldn't take 24 periods of that, man. But anyways, long story short, I saw that and I was just like, then I saw that depth chart and I was like, man, you can come over here and it's gonna be like, you're gonna be like the 10th string middle linebacker or something like that. Or you come over here, you'll be 4th string fullback, and then they had BJ Dean. Got PJ Selvideo, were like 1 and 2. Me and Torrance Washington came in the same for Madison County. He was really, really good. Actually, a lot of the stuff that I got to do was because they wanted Torrance to do that. And then Torrance got hurt, and then I was able to we had a similar skill set. And then, so I saw that. I was like, man, I ain't trying to see the bench, man. I'm going to go over here. And then Billy, the way he told me was we play fullback. Fullback ain't nothing but Mike linebacker, and you can't tackle. You got to be able to identify, hit, and you use your hands in a different way. And then he showed me that, and then, from there I just went out, man. Like you were saying, is the iron sharpens iron. Like I tell people all the time, listen, 5 stars you want as many 5 stars as you can get. You want your 3 stars too, but your 3 stars will rise to the level of 5 stars if you got enough talent in there. If you have a bunch of people I'm not saying teams like with 3 stars can't elevate and play well, but iron sharpens iron, and you can only rise to the level of who's the best. So I'm around a bunch of high school All-Americans, and stars wasn't as prevalent then, but we still had them. So like Ernie Sims was the only guy we've ever recruited that was a perfect prospect. So like he was with rivals. But I'm going out there banging with Ernie Sims, banging with these guys I was just telling you about, AJ Sam. And Buster. They had Michael Boulware, Kendall Pope already there, who both got drafted. They were all really, really good. A guy Allen Augustin, a guy Black Ice. I think what's Black Ice on there? Gerald Hudson. And Gerald Hudson was 6'3", 275 pounds as a Mike linebacker. And I gotta ISO him. So like, you either gotta figure it out and let your nuts drop, or you're going to be in for a hell of pain. And actually had a teammate, and this is what saved my life, because I could have died out there, especially, and this, I want to get into the Tim Tebow thing, and I'm going to tell you why I could have died. Because I was a liability out there my freshman year, not knowing what to do. And I was like 215, so they were like, kind of like you, it was like, but Billy wanted me to do it, and he was like, treat every day like Thanksgiving. And I didn't eat breakfast. So he ran me, because I skipped breakfast once. He ran me like 10 stadiums. He's like, I know this don't make sense, but you ain't gonna never miss breakfast again. So like I ate. Hell, that's part of the problem when I got done playing. I ate so much that I kept eating and I wasn't burning them calories like it was at practice anymore. But Eric Powell saw like I wasn't going full speed once. And he was like, listen, I'm trying to get to the league to feed my family. He's like, and you're not giving me a look. So he said, so I'm gonna tell you this right here. If you don't start coming full speed and hitting me the way I need to be hit and giving me a look, I'm gonna make sure I leave you leave here every day with a concussion. I'm gonna knock your ass out. So it's almost like Debo, what Debo told the Smokey, you're gonna get in. No, what he told Craig, you're gonna get involved, or I'm gonna knock your ass out. Make a choice. So like it was like, all right, man. I was like, shoot, let me go out here and start like trying to bash people's face masks because again, I'm from the hood. I can fight. Fighting and football is two different things. I can tell you that straight up. But you ain't gonna make no challenge to me like that, and then think it's just gonna lay out. So I just started coming in, but again, it blessed me, and I became a 3-year starter, and then got a chance to eat my ass out the league with in New Orleans with coffee and beignets because that food over there is good, man. So, but those are the things that I think people miss when it comes to football. Is one, that brotherhood and that closeness, and also just the physicalness and the violence. And one of the big downfalls of our sport or sport in general is that it's not that if you've never lived that lifestyle that you should or can't talk about it, but it's certain things in that lifestyle that you shouldn't be giving credence to talk about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. We got guys that shoot, like you said, ain't been through that fire, and they disrespecting guys that's going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand you critiquing the game, but it's certain it gets too far at some point. Like you said, people that don't actually been through that fire, you got credentials to speak on it, and that's why we really wanted to do this thing, kind of show y'all a different viewpoint from things from people who actually done been through that fire.
All right, let's one before we go into actually no, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the position. Is the fullback, and we'll say fullback tight end because the NFL really is transitioned to using an H back, which ain't nothing but I actually saw somebody write this. They're like, there's no need for a fullback. You should just get an undersized tight end that's about 6 foot to 6'2", 245 pounds to 260 pounds. So I tweeted back at him, so you should get a fullback. Because basically you just described a fullback. That they're like that's a little bit more that can run routes a little bit better and some things like that. But so I'm gonna put the fullback and tight end in the same sentence. Like even and we both played something else and transitioned into it. How easy is it to play this position?
Man, it's tough. Like I remember coming in when I made the switch. I was similar story to you, man. I'm getting cussed out every day. Like they having meetings with me. Like you, man. I come from an environment like where I was raised, I don't really let nobody know. So it was tough for me when I gave these people my trust and they switching my position and they talking crazy. I'm like, man, I don't know none of this stuff. And I'm out there messing up. Like I really didn't like the block. I told them when they switched me to offense, I'm like, man, I'll play fullback if y'all give me the ball. Because I had played running back my whole life. Like, y'all give me the ball, I'll play fullback. And I didn't really know how to block. So we were getting into it back and forth. And it's tough, man. Like, a lot of people just think it's, oh, block this dude, run this assignment. Man, the angles and the fullback is really, you the cleanup guy for everything. You got your responsibility, not like all the time is to clean up when somebody else messes up. So you got your assignment, but you also got everybody else's assignment too. So it's a tough task, and it's really the unsung hero of the football team. And they say it's crazy that the acronym for football is they use FB. Fullback is FB. So it ain't real football unless you got the fullback. It's crazy that it kind of phases out the game, but like you said, the H back is really that, and it's just guys that can run routes a little bit better. But getting back to that traditional fullback, you see the Patriots. They made it a staple in their offense for so many years, and I'm surprised people didn't copy them and try to do it. You see a few still stick to it, but it ain't real football without the fullback.
Not at all, man. It's downhill, and it's just like what you're saying. You're literally when you're playing that position, so even if you're like, again, you're a tight end, but they put you in the backfield, they put you at a wing or something like that. They put you in the fullback position, and you're literally a running back without the ball. So like you got to take the same path 75% of the time as the running back, and your reward is running smack dab into somebody who's running downhill full speed. And so this is the excuse I use to people when they be like, I text and drive. I shouldn't. I'll admit that. But like, hear me out with why I believe I could text and drive. This was a play or something that we would do at Florida State when I was there, and these are all the things that I got to differentiate in a 5 second time span, because most plays are only about 5 seconds. So I'm coming out of the I formation. Let's say we're running a sweep. I got the Mike linebacker. That's the middle linebacker for people who don't understand. I can't just go straight to him. I have to run in the same path as a running back on the sweep. So let's say we're going to the right. I'm going off tackle, and I need to meet that guy as soon as I get off of that tackle. As soon as I get past that tackle. And I'm going to bring in what you were just talking about. So I've got to gauge the speed of this guy who's probably faster than me at that point, and he's just going downhill. I've got to gauge his speed to that point, and then I've got to meet him at that point. All the while, I've got 5 linemen in front of me who got other big, burly, large mammals that are in front of them that are pushing back and forth. So if somebody gets blown up, I've got to be able to get off track and then get back on track and gauge that, all while running in the same motion. If that defensive end is whooping the tight end or the tackle off of the edge, now I have to chip up, but I have to chip in a manner in which allows that person to get the block. If you hit them too hard, they're going to disengage, and then now they have an opportunity to go make the play. So I got to make sure I'm pushing up, and I still have to get this guy who's running here. So I'll use an example. Like John Vilma ran a 4.3. The best I've ever ran is a 4.75. So I've got to figure out how my 4.75 is going to beat a 4.3 scraping across to try to hit the running back. And the running back's got to look at me, and and then the running back's faster than me too. So you had Dalco. So I can Dalco was probably one of the most patient runners I've ever seen. So and Leon Washington was really, really good at being patient too. So I was blessed with that. But let me tell you, when you got Greg Jones running that same play, and you just saw what Greg Jones did to Dexter Reed in North Carolina, you was in on that play. He put a man in orbit. Bitch, I'm running all my 4.75 to try to get the. I'd rather take anything that the other side has to give me, except for taking this Rydell Enema that I could potentially be getting from Greg, who at the time weighed more than me. I'm blocking for a guy who weighed more than me, but he's just a more physical and talented runner, and he ended up playing fullback in the league too. So I mean, and then that's just the science and what's going in your head to get there. I gotta bring evil intentions when I get to him. Because if I don't bring evil intentions, he bringing evil intentions to me, and he'll love nothing more than to knock my ass out. And I got to go over there, and I got to block. I got to be able to, So, and I think so. It's not only do you have to be able to be athletic, and then you got to be able to do the certain things, but you got to have a mindset that you're gonna like. People talk about Marshawn Lynch saying you got to run through a motherfucking face mask over and over and over and over again. That's literally got to be your mentality. Because if it's not, somebody's going to knock you straight back, and you're going to get embarrassed on national TV. And the difference now than it was when I played, when you got a text message from Sprint, whether you sent the text message or it was sent to you, it was 40 cents a message, no matter what. So if I got laid out, the whole hood was going to text me, and my phone bill was going to probably be through the roof. I couldn't afford all those 40-second text messages. So I was out there just trying to straight knock people out, man. So that's just, a lot of the stuff that goes into it. Like, people just think, like, if you just play quarterback, you spent your whole life not getting hit. To go from, don't hit me, I'm wearing a red jersey, to I got to hit somebody every play is a total paradigm shift, man. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, having to hit somebody every play.
Man, like you said, we came from the defensive side, so You kind of used to it, but it's like you said. I think fullback's a little bit different, and you have to approach it differently. Like on defense, shoot, you want to make a tackle, so a lot of times you getting out of the way of avoiding blocks. But fullback, you gotta wreak havoc. You gotta cause damage. You gotta make them feel you, and that it's a whole different mindset that you gotta have playing that position. But I think outside of just being violent as a fullback, people don't give the position the respect that it deserves as much as being art. Because when I sit down and I watch a fullback running zone extra, that's when you get down to the nitty gritty of the position. That's the most beautiful play, and you can. That's when you find out if you got an elite fullback or not on that zone extra. And you notice coming into the zone extra, Jimbo then would just give me leeway and be like, Freddie, man, like you got so many different responsibilities. Of course, you got the guy you're going to block, but once you get truly good at it, you got a safety buzzing off the edge. If this guy climbs down fast enough, now you got to take him off the edge to make the play be successful. But oftentimes we're reading that D lineman to see where he goes, and you see on the Clemson film, me and Carlos in overtime, we were killing Clemson the whole overtime. We were just winding that thing back because they kept over pursuing. You can do so much with it. And I really think people forget the fact that the fullback position is art. If you truly know what's going on in the game, watching the great fullback go to work is beautiful.
Right, man. It's amazing. Again, this is I'm at Big Game James _36 at Freddie Stevenson. Little thing we're trying to put together here. Inside drills. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but this will be available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, all the YouTube channels, all those different things is going to stay up. Check it out, share it, give us some critique, feedback, who you would like to see on the pod, what you would like to see going. Talk to me again, because this is the first one. It's an introduction, even though everybody we think everybody knows us. We have no idea who's going to listen to this. But talk to me a little bit about struggle over triumph, the clothing line, the things that you've been doing post football, and why is it important to you?
Yeah, man. I started the brand at the ball. Like a lot of guys I know, they struggle with figuring out what's their purpose, what they're gonna do with their life, and I fell into that as well. I didn't really know. Fell into a stage of depression. Turned to the streets. That's the environment that I grew up in, and I found myself in that. I was like, man, I know I ain't do all this. Like I've been to college, I got a degree. I didn't do all that to come do this. And I was just sitting back and I was like, man, I'm finna show people that come from where I come from, the initial purpose behind it. I'm gonna show them that you can go on to be successful whether you're playing ball or not. Because a lot of us think if you're not playing ball, if you're not one of the biggest drug dealers in the community, or if you ain't an entertainer, you ain't really doing nothing. But we got so many people in our communities that are talented, and to feed them this information is crazy to me because you have all these people. They may want to be a lawyer, they may want to be a doctor, but they choosing the street life because that's what you're pushing to them. So showing people that all right, we can take a different lane and still be successful. And that's when I launched my brand, Triumph. Just started off as clothing, but I had my vision. I was already writing the book, and I was already getting paid as a speaker. And I was like, man, I'm gonna use my story. At first, it was just to help players out when I was writing the book, help players out that were struggling with that transition. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when it just started resonating with a larger audience. And I was like, man, now it's running now. Let's run it. And now I was like, man, we finna use this story to impact the world. And that's what my goal was ultimately from the beginning. And it's been a blessing, man, just to see people. I got people coming up to me now like, man, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I want to be a speaker. And I just talked to a guy when I did my back to school bash a few weeks ago. And it's crazy. He brought me over to the hood. He was like, man, I know you don't know me. I just want to let you know how much you motivating the people that come from where we come from. And he was like, man, I ain't living right. I can't tell you that I'm living right. He's like, but I try to tell these kids every single day what they should be doing. He's like, man, I had dreams. I wanted to go to college. He's like, but we didn't have the means. So that's why I had to jump into the streets to try to raise money. And he's like, man, you get caught up in it. You got to change your mindset to be able to survive out here. And he's like, somebody like you that's showing these kids that there's a different way. Like, I appreciate you. And that's ultimately what it's about, showing them that whether you go on to be a video game designer. I was talking at a youth center, asking the kids what they want to be. Of course, 95% said they want to go play ball. Then you had one kid, he was like, I want to be a video game designer. All the kids laughing at him. But it's funny because, like, once all these kids retire from sports, them games still going to be coming out. So just encouraging these kids to pursue their dreams and knowing that, man, because a lot of people in these households, this same narrative has pushed us over and over again. That's why you see these guys, when they don't make it, they come back to the streets and you see them in the headline or whatever. But showing them, man, you can go on and be successful in so many other avenues. And that's ultimately what our goal is.
I mean, that's good, man. It's a great story, man, and it's so true because a lot of us do come from, which again, it's the behavior that makes you really, really good in sports, in particular football, is also that same hyper aggressive masculine behavior that can make you really, really good in multiple things when it comes to the streets. And like I always tell people, a lot of the smartest and best businessmen I know are drug dealers, or what we would call drug dealers, street pharmaceutical experts, or however you want to paint it. That's what they are. I mean, when you think about it, from distribution to marketing, because you got to market your product, to accounting. Can't really put that kind of stuff on paper. You got to have it in your brain. And, like I told some of them, the recipe. And those are things that I still know to this day. It is more so because I don't know some of these guys as bad people. They're my god brothers. I grew up with them. We went to kindergarten together. They're no, to me, in my mind, they're no different than the people that I know who are CEOs of large corporations or generals, because I did get a chance to go into these different things. I know people find that weird to say, but when you get around some, like, if you become a general, you got bodies in the closet, man. There's something, skeletons in the closet. You didn't get that high of a rank without something happening. And I don't mean, and that's just life. That just happens. So, I mean, but again, like I was saying, to me, it's that, but that's not, no matter how I view it, that's not the way, because it comes with the end goal. You got to have an end goal to get out of everything. So even if you're a CEO, your end goal is when you step down, you're going to have a package that's going to be given to you. You're going to have stock in the company, or you've stacked enough money to where you could just walk away and be good. Worst case scenario, you'll be a consultant and still get paid. If you're a general, you know that you're going to get out. There really ain't no retirement plan from the street. And, and again, that's where a lot of our story is so unique. And I think this is why this pod would be great, because I can get inspired by you, but also there's a lot of similarities in what I do, which is why one of the things I've always said is, man, how are we going to help each other? Because, shoot, what you're trying to do is what I'm trying to do. I tell people the reason why I started a book bag drive was because the first book bag drives or back to school things that I got was from the drug dealers. They would give us, when I was in middle school, we hopped the city bus to go, because my mom started letting me buy my own clothes. And they'd be like, how much you got? And we like, man, I got $150 to go school clothes shopping. And they may slide us another 100. They may slide us another 200, saying, hey, man, go get you some more stuff. So as I got older, and again, similar options when I got done playing, I haven't made that big of a check yet. Or since then, and I had companies that have been really successful. And I tell them my company's successful. That don't necessarily mean James Coleman is getting that kind of check. That just means my company that I own is getting that, but I got to pay people and divvy it out. But, you come in and you see somebody making, 25,000 a day. And even then, all you're thinking about is they made 25,000 a day. You're not thinking about the cost associated with that 25,000 a day. And even as a business person, the cost a few years down the road, or even a few days down the road, if you get jammed up. Jay-Z says, change the cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees. And I got, even in business, I've always kept that true, because you never know what's going to happen with that. Some duck will sue you. And I've been through that before. But, so I'm seeing this, though, and I'm even thinking as an adult, trying to, live, how that influenced me, and be like, man, I could use that, what I mean? Shoot, even if we only got 4,000 left after we re-up, I can use $4,000 right now, quick, and you think it's the quick money, but then, I looked at it like, the example, man. I came out of my neighborhood, I played Division I ball. All these people were looking at up to me and were looking to me to be the example of that there's another way. So I can't fall back into that because then that'll blow up and ruin everything. Because I remember what one of the OGs on the block told me. He said, "This kid got it. Y'all don't. The only Florida State university that y'all got a chance to go to is the Florida State, or the only Florida State y'all got a chance to go to is the Florida State Penitentiary." And he was telling, it was kind of harsh, but I guess he could. Somebody had to see something in me to make sure I didn't go down that path. So, but if a guy like me can go and give you some book bags and go and inspire you to do some other stuff, can raise. I think I don't want to say I raised it. We raised it as a community. We raised $36,000 in a month to give 1,000 book bags. We were able to give 1,000 book bags between Tallahassee and Jacksonville. If I could do that, then a lawyer can do that. And if a lawyer can do that, then a doctor can do that. If a doctor can do that, a business owner can do that. And what I mean by that is, like, if we start going to the hood with all these different other businesses, and then these kids start researching and they see us as successful, guess what the kids gonna want to be? They gonna want to be that. It's real
Exactly.
easy, man. It ain't hard, but the problem, and then we doing it in the community. It's like they're like, why do you want to do it here? Because I need the community to see this. I need the news to come here. I need this to come here. Not about me. I don't need another article written about me. And I see how people talk about me. I don't need no more people talking good. I do good and people still talk bad about me. I don't even know how that works. But I need people to see the community and not in a way that they don't see it when somebody gets shot, somebody got robbed, somebody got this. And I need people from other communities to bring your behind here. Stop being scary. I'm gonna protect you if you're afraid, and give back. Because what happens is when you give in, and this is why I love giving back. When you giving back to people, it's hard to be afraid of them. It's hard to, like, when you see them in a different light. Like, it's hard. Now, I'm not saying bad stuff won't happen, but bad stuff can happen to you in a good neighborhood. It's just, trying to be the change. As I say, when you in the back, when you're not leading from the front, and you the last dog in the pack, everything look like ass and it smell like it. You
Mhm.
don't like what you're looking at, you don't like what you're smelling, bring your ass up front and lead. And that's kind of, and then, well, we probably got to come up with a shirt where we can split this, man. But that's what fullbacks do. Fullbacks lead block. They lead the way. So, again, bravo to what you do. People definitely need to go to Amazon, and we'll put the link. We'll pin it at the top of the Facebook Live and the YouTube too, to where they can go get your book on Amazon. They can purchase the apparel. Again, support the channels, like, share, do all those different things for different people. But you got to tell the full circle story that me and you talked about and you tweeted about it. So I'm gonna let you tell the story the way you need to tell it.
Okay. Yeah. So when I was younger, my pops, he was incarcerated for drug trafficking, and it was looking like he wasn't go. He was finna do a long bid, and my mom, she had to raise 5 kids on her own. And I remember being homeless, bouncing around from place to place. My mom, she working 2 to 3 jobs, and like she, worst case scenario, we knew all of us were going to at least have a piece of bread individually to eat, if that's like mayonnaise sandwich, whatever the case may be. But I remember one day, it's like 8 in the evening, and we had eaten all day, so we like, dang man, it ain't never been this bad. We don't know if we're gonna eat today. And my baby sister, she crying, and everybody we trying to keep our composure, but like, shoot, we hungry, like what's going on? And a lot of people, they don't understand, like, why didn't y'all? A lot of people ask me why y'all didn't get help. It's tough because we got family that's struggling just as bad as us, and they done dished out as much help as they possibly can at this time. So it's hard to come back to them all the time. So my mom, like, a lot of times, she's like, man, we just gonna have to figure it out. And this day, she just gathered us all together. We didn't have a car, and she pushing my baby sister in the stroller. We come up on the McDonald's. She go inside, order a cheeseburger, and we look around, we're like, dang, it's 5 of us. She got just one cheeseburger, and the total came out to $1.05. And that's when we found out that my mom only had $1 to her name. And for some reason that day, the lady at the cash register, she wouldn't let her get the burger without having a nickel. I don't know why I couldn't tell you. But so we had to watch my mom go around McDonald's and beg for a nickel. After a while, somebody was generous enough to donate it to her, and she got the cheeseburger, walked us outside, and started cutting the cheeseburger up into 5 slices. And we just all started eating. And as my older sister was eating, she noticed that my mom's wasn't eating. And she asked her why. And we all looked around at each other like, man, let's offer mom a slice. Like, I know she hungry too. And we tried to offer a slice, and she turned it down and burst into tears. And it was crazy because everything that we're going through, whether it be just trying to find a place to sleep, being hungry, whatever the case may be, she always was smiling, like regardless. She a woman of faith, and she always like, man, God gonna work it out for us. And that's the first time we seen her break down. And like that's a story that's been going kind of viral now. When you fast forward, 26 years old, I'm legit. Then we had the back to school bash a few weeks ago, and McDonald's, they donated some gift cards to the kids at the back to school bash, over 500 gift cards, like free McFlurries, free meals, things like that. And on the note, they left a little note, and they're like, man, we're excited for what you're doing, and we're excited for what lies ahead in the future. That's showing foreshadowing for what lies ahead. I truly believe we're gonna connect again in the future. And I know all these people like, man, why you put your kids to eat McDonald's? I'm like, man, listen, a lot of y'all don't understand, and I'm not. It is what it is. Sometimes all you got is the dollar. Sometimes that's all you got. And a lot of people, they don't truly understand that. Like my mom only had $1 to her name. So if a kid only has $1 to their name, if family only has $1 to their name, I'm not finna be a fool and tell them to go eat something that they can't afford. You know what I'm saying? So I know what it's like to come out of them slums. So being a resource now and being in a position where people see the effort we put in, it's a blessing. Like you said, we come from these environments, and now I'm in a position. You got all these people that turn to the streets and turn to a lifestyle that isn't going to be beneficial for them in the long run. But really, ultimately, that's why I can resonate with what you were doing, showing these people, because I truly believe some of the most talent in the world is right in these communities we grow up in. But it's showing these people to hone these skill sets that we got into something positive. Like we can be a hustler for something bad, something that doesn't benefit us, but we can't be a hustler for something positive. So show them like, man, listen, y'all see it. It's no secret to it. I just want to give up. Like I guarantee you right now, all these people that are interviewing me, whatever the case may be, they gonna look back a year ago. I'm blowing up their DMs because I'm finna hustle for something positive, and I had a bigger goal in mind. And it's crazy that sometimes when we're trying to do something positive, we have all these negative thoughts in mind. But if somebody asks us to do something negative, we own it. So just showing them, man, if we're willing to hustle for something positive and put those same tools towards something to benefit us, the sky's the limit.
Without a doubt, man. That story, you like the first thing I saw when I saw that box, I was like, yo, bro, that's your story, man. Like the and again, like, it's easy to say, like, yeah, we want to have better options than McDonald's, but like, have you been? Again, this is why I encourage people go serve in a community that's not like yours. Like where I live at, if I truly wanted to walk, I mean, it's a 5 minute drive, but it's a 10 minute, no, not 10 minute, 20 minute walk to get to if I'm on pace or a jog. There's a Publix down at one end of my street. There's a Publix down the other one. There's like the greatest Winn Dixie ever built across the street from that Publix. And then there's 20 to 30 different restaurant choices that are fast food for the most part, whether it be mom and pop or whether it be Wendy's, which is a brand. But I have choices of what if what my kids don't want to eat. Now there's a McDonald's too. My son's McDonald's did such a good job of marketing when I was coming up, and even when you were coming up, that now I haven't seen a Happy Meal commercial in years. But my kids know exactly what a freaking Happy Meal is. But again, if I go to the left, there's where my Starbucks is. I got two Starbucks that are within 10 minutes of me with a drive, multiple restaurants, multiple fast food choices. But I also live in what's considered an affluent area. The areas I do my book bag drives, there isn't anything besides if we can get to the gas station, a guy maybe doing some barbecue. But that barbecue is going to run you a lot more than what McDonald's. McDonald's is right outside of almost every hood in America. But bigger than that, when you hungry, you care about who's serving you. And that's what I always be telling people, like, shoot, like just go. Like help you want to change your perspective and how people view you, go feed them. Like if you're a Christian, that's what Christians say they are. But like y'all ain't really spending no time in the city. I'm not here to judge anybody. And if your church is doing it, dope. Share it so I can share it and retweet it. But it's not a lot. And I've learned of the hindrances that some people have, even through my food drives every weekend, is that we giving away 75,000 pounds of food almost every Saturday with a lot of fresh produce, right? But you got to drive up there and get it, right? And this cats that literally can't, they don't have a car. And, so they can't, unless we know and we can take the food to them, we don't know how to get them the services. So like the first book bag drive I did, we found out about a lot of kids from my son's school that lived in the area, and we brought the food to their hood in the front of it. So we left one place to go to another place to drop food off in the front, and then them cats came and got it. But you never know somebody's story or why. Like shoot, and again, when you down to your last $5, man, you got to make that $5 stretch. So and then during that time, that was when McDonald's and Wendy's was the only one with the dollar with the value meals. So 100% understand that. And then again, if you don't want McDonald's coupons given out, you need to go help the people who helping write grants or whatever the hell it is they need to do to go put other gift cards or something healthier, or build a juice bar in the hood. That's the biggest thing. I always think a lot of people, complain or they got something to say, but like, where you at? What you doing? What you doing that's different than me, so I can go support that.
Yeah, a lot of like, man, even with we only had 3 weeks to do ours, and I remember asking you, I was like, man, how's it? Because you've been doing this, like, man, because we didn't have the nonprofit approved. I know you got yours approved. I was asking, like, man, you think it'll be possible to raise this much in 3 weeks? Like, it's gonna be tough. Like, man, we just gonna have to grind. And I just remember going through it. All these people, they turning us down. You had a few people that were willing to invest in it. They didn't care about the tax write-off, whatever the case may be. They were like, man, we just love when people are giving back. But then you got all these other people on the other side. They talk about better in the world. And I understand the aspect of it, but they're not truly invested. Everything is about business for some people. And when you see people like ourselves trying to truly make a mark on the world, it's tough because we know what it's like for people in these communities. Some people just can't understand that there's somebody out here. They want to get here bad, but they don't have a car. And it's a long walk for them. They ain't gonna be able to carry all this back. They don't consider those people when we do things like this. And like you said, some people just ain't got the means for it. So if you truly want to help, stop talking about it. You got to show us.
Right. And again, like I said, and that's why I say time, talent, treasure. You ain't got you can give back and be just as much, and I'll tell people you just as much involved as I was. Give your time, talent, and treasure. You ain't got no money, give me your time. You ain't got no money, give me your talent. Your talent is what you're good at or your connections. If you ain't got that, man, give the treasure. Like to me, there's things that, like for example, with you, like I was damn near dead when I when your like when it started getting to your thing. But I'm like, you like, man, I need some book bags. Where's your plug? Boom, here, bro. Hit my guy up. Get these book bags right here for your first one. Get these right here. Don't get the I could do anything ones because you're trying to raise, like that's gonna make you have to raise a lot more money. Do this because of what you're doing and it's still gonna have just as much impact and just as much value. And I think people don't understand the amount of time that it takes and the energy and the thought process and then the competitive drive. So like I told you, so I know next year. So next year we ain't gonna make it hard. It's gonna be yours, but we're gonna really partner up and link up together when it comes to this book bag stuff.
And listen,
so that we can make sure that it's 3 times better than it was this year. But like, to raise, like we ended up, because I was just like you, the first one I was like, but I had money in this. I put 5,000 of my own money in the first book bag drop because that's what I was gonna spend on my birthday. I was gonna have a birthday party in Tallahassee. I was gonna have a birthday party in Jacksonville, and I was gonna have and I was going to the DR. And COVID shut all that down. So what I said was, instead of me going out here having a birthday party, living my best life, because it was my jersey year, I was just like, I'm 36. I'm finna turn up. I didn't do nothing for 35. I'm like, I'm finna turn up and act an ass for 36. And it sucks is I couldn't do nothing for 36 or 37. Then I was like, 'cause I'm like, okay, I think God or whoever is up there is basically telling me they don't want me turning up for my birthday. Because I was on Sunday after we get done with the camp, I was gonna tell everybody come to the cigar lounge. I'm gonna use my ABC sponsorship. We're gonna have some bottles here. We're gonna have this, and we're gonna have a ball. We're gonna have a blast. And that's why I was in the hospital. But it's about using resources. So like again, you got the McDonald's. I don't even know if it's a plug, but you got McDonald's. We're gonna tell them. Oh, so what I said was we gave 600 last year, and I was like, man, I want to give 1,000, and 1,000 times 36. I was like, oh shoot, that's a large number. But the competitive nature of me was like, you know what, we finna go get this out. And so I'm just pushing, and then we got it. And thanks to a lot of different people, but this is when I started telling people, I don't care what gang you claim, Republican, Democrat, any of that stuff. What I care about is a check because I'm coming to the hood with gifts. So when I do this STEM camp, with this online STEM camp, I don't care who you are. We come in and we showing these kids other options. Like again, that kid that you were talking about said he want to build video games. I'm not taking football away from people or sports. I'm just telling them when them cleats get hung up, we need to have a plan after that. Like we don't need you even thinking about going to the hood. But if I could get you experience and exposed to multiple different things, then I know you're gonna be ready. So we're gonna do this sports STEM camp. We're gonna do what was it? Oh, Thanksgiving turkey drive. Because now one thing I do believe is everybody got to have a Nino Brown moment. So if you ain't never seen, if you don't know who Nino Brown is, you need to go watch New Jack City. And when I say Nino Brown moment, everybody got to throw turkeys in the crowd. If you've never thrown turkeys into a crowd, you don't know the high of that. And again, Nino Brown, fictional drug dealer, giving back to his community. What happens when positive people come back and do the same thing? So we'll have our turkey. So we're gonna have different things for people to give back with. But next year, man, we coming in that thing, we acting ignorant with this stuff. And so I know the plugs with what I know. You know the plugs with what you know. Go up to Savannah, get OG Deloach, know the plugs that he knows. Like if we mess around and we doing this on a large scale, man, it becomes bigger than us and it becomes legacy. And like, for me to talk about real quick, to put a bow on it, is I played for a guy who we all saw his legacy. You'll say this, you're gonna be able to say this same thing in 20, 30 years. I don't know if it'll be quite to Bobby's level because of how people view Jimbo, but Jimbo gonna have a legacy when it's all said and done because Jimbo a winner. He got a national championship under him, and a lot of people are going to have positive things to say about him. And you were one of the first guys, you were one of the guys that helped build that. But like when I look at what Bobby built in men, like Bobby just was legit. So like this whole thing with me giving back comes from him. Because let's be honest, if an old white man from Alabama didn't come to get me to come meet me where I was at, I would never be in this situation. And that's really what and you can't be afraid to do that. He was not, and he didn't change it. You didn't see Bobby, you ain't never seen no picture with Bobby like this, acting cool, talking to that man. Never said he listened to rap. I don't even think that man owned an iPad or iPod in his life. But Bobby was who he was, unapologetically, and he lived his life and did what he felt was right, in a Christian manner. So like, those are the things that I wanted to do because when it's all said and done, and I'm out of here, which again I got a chance to think of a lot over the last couple of weeks, and I ain't gonna go into all of that. Just go listen to past podcasts and you can hear my COVID journey that way. But when you almost dead and you're thinking about legacy and what you're gonna leave on this planet, it's gotta be bigger than your kids. And like those are the most important things, but it's gotta be bigger than the kids about who you impacted. And I want people to, I don't want nobody crying at my funeral, but I want people being like turning up and being like, damn, I remember that dude always smiling, always caring about the community, always putting a smile on people's face and always trying to keep people fed. So, but on top of that, he would tell you, don't get it twisted. Don't think it's sweet. I'll whoop your ass if it come down to it, but I prefer not to. So, it's just like, I think T.I. had that thing on Breakfast Club. I kiss your girl, beat your. He's I whoop your ass, kiss your girl, and tuck my kids in tonight, and then lead a march on Saturday on the weekend. So basically, that's what I once said about me when it's all said and done.
Without a doubt, I respect it, man. I'm all with it. Like you said, you spoke on Bobby, man. What he did on the field, you can it was monumental, but the lives that he impacted beyond ball, man, that's where the legacy stands. You got so many people that never even like met Bobby, but they could tell you, they could talk about him like as if they knew him. Like I seen him from afar. He would be at a few practices and then he planted a spear at a few games. But I could tell you stories about him as if I knew him because of the lives that he impacted and they poured into mine. And that's just the type of legacy that he left. So people, man, when you talk about coming in this world and making an impact, man, that's a person you should definitely look at because he did that.
Yep. So other than that, anything else we want to try to touch on?
I think we're good for this one. Now, y'all, man, listen, we're gonna have a lot in store for y'all this year. This episode was just coming on, chopping it up, giving y'all a little introduction. But like he said, he got some resources, I got some resources, and of course we're gonna tap into Florida State, but we got so much more to talk about outside of that as well. So we're gonna tap into some resources outside of just Florida State as well. So y'all definitely tap in.
Yep. Plan on having former athletes, not just football players in general, on the pod where we just talk about stuff, but we're gonna talk about life, and it's not just an interview. They're gonna be a guest, so we're not just talking to them. They're gonna join the conversation. We want you to join the conversation. Please like, share, subscribe to the Sports Den YouTube channel, or we're gonna change it to Den Media Group. There'll be a lot of other shows that are gonna be coming on. So plenty of content that's gonna come on. Also, if you want to be seen, Notre Dame game, I'm telling you, best tailgate you're gonna ever go to. I'm hosting. If you ever been to one of my tailgates, you know it's live. Everybody gonna be there. It's $40. All you can eat, all you can drink. If you like cigars, we'll have premium cigars from thehumidor.com. The alcohol, plenty of alcohol, plenty of food. It's not burgers and hot dogs. Ribs, sausages, burgers, hot dogs, chicken breasts, chicken legs, probably chicken wings because I think the price is going down on chicken wings. Burgers, hot dogs. We'll have cheese too, so you can put on the burgers. So you can make it cheese them good steak tomatoes, and some good lettuce, so you can and good bread, so you can make sure you have a good
Man,
burger
I'm hungry.
that you're gonna be have. And we're gonna have we'll have the sides of traditional your baked beans. Um, I don't know somebody if you know how to make if you know how to make mashed potatoes, excuse me, if you know how to make potato salad, you know, but if you don't know how to make potato salad, don't bring it now. I'll tell you that straight up. And who knows? Because my guy, we had asparagus at the spring game, and I don't even know how my guy Matt got asparagus and what happened. But we're gonna have that. Oh, we're gonna have mashed jambalaya. So if you ain't had mashed jambalaya, trust me, it's got prawns in it. So like the things that you're gonna eat at this tailgate are only things that you'll see at a family reunion where you didn't have to pay money to go to it. So that's kind of what my tailgates are like. So again, that's $40. All those proceeds go to the MFTK Foundation, which is what does things that me and Freddie were talking about. So on that note, we're gonna try to do this every Wednesday. If that's good, Wednesday's good for you.
Yeah, that's cool for me.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to do this every Wednesday, and tune in next week. We're gonna do a live, edit it, and then we'll put it up on the SoundCloud where you can re-listen. Y'all have a good day.